Folks, it is draft week here at pubsportsradio.com and some interesting doings coming up for Thursday's round one. But I got to tell you, Jeff, this is smoke screen week. And if we take a look around the league, we might get some draft surprises, or do we? Let's bring in the big man on campus, Jeff Nadeau. What do you think about some shenanigans getting pulled on Thursday here?
Oh, there's always going to be certain shenanigans. I would entice teams to make sure you don't go too overboard. You're starting to see stuff like the Giants are interested in the quarterback. I mean, stop with that. I mean, Daniel Jones, I find it interesting how quickly people turn on people, Donnie. Daniel Jones, I thought, did really well at times last year. I mean, he had no offensive line. Who the hell, Donnie? Let me ask you. I know you're a good NFL guy. You and I are both good NFL guys. How out of 10 people, how many people do you think could actually name one receiver the Giants actually had last year?
Yeah, probably outside of like Shepard, but no, not just a bunch of random like NFL guys. Yeah, just random guys. Yeah.
I think you're going to see like some of the smoke sheets. You're going to see, especially now with there nothing going on, there's going to be so many folks out there that want to throw out this nonsense to get clicks. And that's, another story on how dangerous that could be really. But yeah, you'll see it. I think you got to think that it's going to be a lot of the time you're not going to be able to figure out what will happen. Just kind of stick with what you're good at and just kind of think where teams are likely going to go, not what you want to happen, what's likely going to happen.
No, I agree with you there, because when you take a look in the Giants' perspective, it's exactly the one I wanted to look at, because we know in that three hole, Detroit has a really good spot and might be able to trade out of there. But then I read the shenanigans like, well, let's make some stuff up and just put it out there. Boy, we're really looking at quarterback. Now, normally under the circumstances, if it was the number 2 pick, let's just say, Jeff, to the Redskins, where it's a new regime coming in, right? So maybe it's like, look, I didn't draft this guy, so don't hold this against me. I want my guy to run my type of system. But when you're Dave Gettleman, the New York Giants, what type of smokescreen is it really where you picked your dream guy last year, number 6 overall to the Giants, Daniel Jones, and then you're going to try to think you're going to fool us by saying, well, why don't we take a look at another quarterback at the top end? Let's just say Tua Tagovailoa, if he's still there. What is the point of that? What is the actual point of that?
I'm not really sure. I don't know what the point of that is. I think you're 100% right. Listen, we've got to stop. The Giants are taking a quarterback. Stop. They're not. It's not going to happen. If you think it's going to happen, we got beat.
Then you're a bad Then you're a bad GM. If you say I got to get ahead of the Giants, they're going to take the kid from Oregon, or they're going to take Tua. I mean, come on, man, really?
I mean, unless they, in 6 months soured on Daniel Jones, which is not surprising though with the Giants, because they could generally do anything. But they've got to take Isaiah Simmons. He's the best player for their team. He could play multiple positions. He can really captain a defense and get them back, Donnie, to the days of, the Michael Strahan eras and those kind of days where they had a pretty damn good defense. They've become a sieve on that side. He could play so many different positions. He's really interchangeable. He's really, I think, Donnie, he's a Darius Leonard type of effect on a team. He's a guy that can completely change what your defense is. Remember, Donnie, how bad the Colts were defensively for years until they draft Leonard, who can do so many different things. You grab him, then you pick and pop certain guys in the secondary. You get yourself a pass rusher in the second or third round, and all of a sudden you got a pretty damn good defense. So, yeah, there's so many smoke screens. You've got to be willing and understand that just because you see some hack writer say that the Giants are taking a quarterback, a lot of the people are just looking to get noticed.
Now, when we take a look at some of these teams that are entering into the first round, because it's always a rite of passage, no matter what team you root for, what team you cheer for, even if you're betting the draft, there's going to be the head scratcher like, oh my God, did they really just draft that guy? Like, we used to always joke, like it was almost like a running joke with the Raiders every year, the guys that they draft in the first round, like, you got to be kidding me. Out of, let's just say, the top 5, Jeff, you got Bengals 1, Redskins 2, Detroit 3, Giants 4, Dolphins 5. Out of those 5, now forget about the trades. Let's just say they each take a pick. Who is more likely to be like, are you kidding me with this draft pick? Like, who do you think is that draft night round 1 team that's like, this team is just out of their mind?
Yeah, again, I think for me, I think the top 10 is pretty simple. I don't know where you would obviously look towards. I mean, there's always a team that does make that reach. Obviously, remember a couple years ago, the Browns took Denzel Ward, which is a bit of a surprise. I remember doing that live with you, Donnie, that show. If there's a team that could screw this up, Donnie, I'm looking at Jacksonville. I have a feeling they're going to take a corner, and I think they're going to reach for C.J. Henderson at 9, which, I mean, look, I get you need a replacement for Jalen Ramsey, but they need to go out and they need to tackle either the best receiver or the best offensive lineman available. You've got to protect your quarterback. You've got to add some weapons to that offense. They're going to be able to go get a corner in the second round. There's plenty of good corners. I have a weird feeling they're going to reach and take a C.J. Henderson type of player who is a good cornerback, but he's not a top 10 player. They would be the team, if I'm looking at a team in the top 10, that may screw it up. But to me, the top 10, I think is pretty simple. I think the players fit. The players that we see, they fit. I think they go like they should, but the Jags could screw it up, I think.
You know, it'd be funny with the Jags too, Jeff. Like you overreach for a cornerback at 9. Well, maybe you had 2 pretty good corners, Jeff, over the past couple of years that maybe you shouldn't have moved on from and just made it work. It never ceases to amaze me where teams like that, and we joke about, again, bring up the Oakland Raiders with Khalil Mack, you trade him away, and then you try to draft his replacement in the draft when you already had the guy. It's always fun to watch and see, but I know during this, because a lot of technical difficulties we're maybe anticipating here, where all of a sudden, Jeff, imagine this, Jeff, you're sitting at home right now, right? You're doing your draft research. Imagine you being panicked that you have to like get on like a Skype camera and, oh my, I don't know if we should be able to do this draft. It's amazing that these guys are paid millions of dollars, Jeff, and some of them are worried out there that maybe we shouldn't have the draft because I can't talk to all my guys in the same room. It's baffling, man. It really is. Listen,
I think we complicate the situation a little bit more than it really is. Okay. Like I sit here, Donnie, and go through, I could probably tell you about every player in this draft in some aspect. And I have, you know, I don't work for an NFL team. I do it because I enjoy it. It's not hard for me, Donnie, to get on a camera and say, hey, this team should do this. It's not that difficult. You don't need to talk to 6,000 people. Nope. Just make the pick. Donnie, here's the thing. In the first 7 picks, it should be Burrow, Young, Okudah, Herbert, Tagovailoa, Derek Brown. It's very simple. That's the first 7 picks. If you want to go and take someone else, do it, but you're taking a flyer.
I mean, what are these stories going to come out in the draft, Jeff, where, the GM was trying to get a hold of his secondary scout to see if they should pick somebody in the second round? If your draft with Jeff, and again, we're not talking about they just open up a draft book, right, a month before the draft and say, hey, I wonder who we should pick. These are years and years scouted in advance where you have your draft board going already, Jeff. For next year, you have a semblance of a draft board. If you can't get it right and you're going to sit back and blame, well, hey, what did you want from me this year? You know, we didn't get it right because it was a technological draft out.
In all aspects, Donnie, of our country, we work way too hard.
Yep. Keep it simple.
You got to just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Exactly. We don't need 36 people in the draft room. Take 5 people that are really smart, know what they're doing, and run with it. Some of the complications we have in life are just fascinating to me. Get the job done and move on. We picked this guy. Boom. Let's go to the next guy. You should have everything mapped out. It should just simply be you hand the thing off, and that's that.
No, you're 100% correct. And that number 4 pick, I can't wait till it comes up on the board because Dave Gettleman, I don't have that much trust in that organization. And if you're really going to put out a story like, boy, we're really taking a look at Herbert from Oregon. We spent a ton of time with him, as if that's supposed to move the needle and get somebody hot and ready to trade with you at number 4. It's hilarious.
What does it say to like Daniel Jones? Hey,
yeah, exactly.
We drafted you last year. You did really well at times.
Yeah.
You had some fumble issues, but we know we didn't exactly give you a good offensive line. You had no weapons. Now we're going to go out and
it's the reason, Jeff. Yeah, exactly. It's the reason I'm not that high on the Giants with hiring Judge, because it's one of those things where you come into a team and you want to ingratiate yourself, right? So when you come and look at Matt Rule, look, Cam, look, it was great for us, but we're moving on. I'm going to bring my guys in. I'm going to pay Christian McCaffrey because that's the type of standard I want in my locker room. And then you have guys like Joe Judge come in, Jeff, and on the first day, going through the process of saying, I want to be the Giants head coach, Gettleman's going to ask you what you think of these certain players. Like, can you work with Daniel Jones? What's it going to be? These type of rah-rah guys that come in, Jeff, and go like this. You know what, Daniel Jones, I'm not going to name any starters. Everybody's job is up in the air. It's such a high school cliche thing, and it's amazing that now they're trying to use that as draft ammo and draft capital to say, trade with us because we might go quarterback here.
If the Giants take anyone other than Simmons
or trade,
Wirfs or Wills, they're completely nuts. They're completely nuts. Yeah, or trade, exactly. They need to get better right now. They press it. I'll tell you another thing, Donnie. If I'm the Giants, I'd consider taking a receiver, frankly.
Judy, or somebody at the top. CeeDee Lamb. Yep.
I mean, what bigger need do they have than a skill position player? Seriously.
For your young quarterback.
Yeah, and your young running back to take the pressure off those guys. I know they won't do it. I'd consider that. And that's where I could understand trading back a little bit. Maybe trade back to 10 or something. You still could get a Judy there, and you could get an extra pick.
No, man, hot topics always flying around here, Jeff. I'm looking forward to. We're finally at draft week, and I got to say, like, we're excited for the Thursday, Friday, Saturday run. And then when that shuts off, we better get back to business here, Jeff, and have some of these pro leagues open up to give us something to talk about on these hot topics before we just flame out and get after it. But it's fun. It's nice to talk about it. We've been going over the draft for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's finally here, and we'll have some fun with it, man.
We definitely will. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is a prop. If you still can bet it, and it's still this number, you've got to bet this immediately. Over 5.5 receivers. Bet that, bet that, bet that. Okay, 7 are going to go in the first round. There's so much talent here. Teams love receivers. Teams are going to they want to get that Tyreek Hill type of player. They want to get that, that Julio Jones type of player.
Passing league.
Johnny, I still don't understand why T. Higgins doesn't get more respect.
I don't know. Yeah, but maybe Jeff, because he dipped out in the second quarter of the championship game because he was hurt. Is that you just knock him for his whole career? Every time you turn the tape on with Clemson, he is absolutely dominating, and it does feel like he is an under the radar first round pick, which is hilarious.
He is the best receiver in this draft. I'll say that again and again and again. He is the best receiver in this draft. He's better than Judy. He's better than Lamb. He's that good. I don't know what listen, Donnie, I pray to the gods one time Eagles do one thing I want them to do right. I'm begging you, go get T. Higgins, please. He'll be there at 21. That's the great thing. You can covertly grab him. Don't trade up. Just take T. Higgins. It's that simple.
No, it's real simple here. Hot topics, Jeff. As always, each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here at PubSportsRadio.com. The draft is Thursday night. Me and Jeff might have some things cooking for the draft to sort of get you through and have some fun because, hey, in this downtime in sports, Jeff, it might be nice to do some live content and have some fun with it and do it all. He's Jeff Nadeau. I'm Donnie Seymour. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We'll get you ready for the draft again right here on PubSportsRadio.com. For Jeff and Donnie, have a good afternoon, folks.